If I told you that the key to every single goal, every single vision board, every single plan, all the things that you want in life, all the things that you want to achieve, all the things you want to accomplish are all within you. You are the key to all of that. Regardless of what society, they often like to say that, you need to become more like this famous person. You need to be more like them. Why don't we ever get taught to be more like ourselves, to truly grow into who we're supposed to become? We're always taught, oh, you need to go and change into this completely other person. And I'm not saying that, changing and evolving as a person is bad. And, there's some people that they just need some change. But then why are we always told to be more like, oh, be more like your brother Chris, be more like, Daniel, be more like Jeffrey, but like be more like all these other people. We're always told to conform to all these other things. What do you want to be when you grow up? Not who do you want to be, it's what do you want to be? Do you want to be an engineer? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a lawyer, a pharmacist, a scientist? All these different things, but it's never focused on who. Who are you becoming? Who is the person that you're going to step forward and achieve your goals? Who is the person that you're going to go and be the leader? Be the excellent husband that you're called to be. Be the person that is a light within your office space or whatever in your business. All these different areas relies on you becoming, on a focus of you becoming the very best version of yourself rather than conforming to all these different things. So I want to go in this video and break down exactly how you need to change your mindset of trying to be like other people, fully become the best version of yourself, and how to exactly do so, and especially in this upcoming 2025 year. Because let's face it, you don't want to be the same person that you were now than you are later. You don't want to be in the same situation. You don't want to be in the same predicaments. You don't want to have the same struggles. You want change. So change starts from you within. First, you really have to go and change the mindset, break down all these barriers within your mind that you are not good enough, that you are just this super messed up, flawed person, that, this shovel of just mess. That's what you're often taught from the time you're in school, from the comments people make, not even just from the comments your people make, but the subtle things that are just taught in school. Like you're always pushed to conform into this cookie cutter layout of everything. You ever thought about why is public school always so focused on you doing all the exact same things? Why is everyone having to take biology and chemistry and physics? Physics, like, realistically, come on, we don't ever use, most people are never going to use it unless you're a physicist or you're working in some sort of engineering or math field. You're most likely never going to use physics. Why do we need to take all these same courses that are making us do the same things over and over, and then comparing who can be the best at being the same? Does that make sense? Doesn't that sound like a system of trying to just make you exactly like everyone else? Because if everyone is like everyone else, then it's so easy to control everyone. It's so easy to keep you in the same place, to keep you in the same mindset, to keep you in the same lifestyle that you've had for many years. That's how you have people that, they think they're successful, they go to college, they get their little nice job and they live the average Joe life. You're taught to aspire to have the average Joe life. That is what you're taught from the very beginning, to conform, to be mediocre, to live a life of mediocrity in the same exact space. Do not conform to that thinking. If you truly want different results, if you want to live like nobody else, you have to live like nobody else now. Live like nobody else now so you can live like nobody else later. That's a famous quote from Dave Ramsey. And that goes beyond just money. But right now, you can't be like everyone else because you're not like everyone else. Get that out of your head. I want you to first get out of your head. I am not like everyone else. Like, genuinely repeat it. Whatever you're watching this while you're washing dishes or listening to this before you go to sleep, wherever you're watching this, you can be on top of a mountain right now and watching this video. Say it out loud. I am not like everyone else, except that you are not. And that is perfectly okay because we're all perfectly made in the image of God. We're all individually unique. So that means we all have our different strengths. We all have our different talents. There are people like Einstein who are referred to as the smartest person to ever live, but he sucked at reading. He got kicked out of school, but he was a genius when it came to math and science. There are excellent writers who could write poetry, who can write novels that will absolutely change your minds. There are excellent speakers who can change the whole entire frames of countries and the systems built and in place for hundreds of years through their words. But then there are other people who can't really talk that much, but you give them something to program, you give them something to code, man, they could code that fast. They can go make a whole new program. Maybe there's someone who can do web design. All these different talents, embrace it. That is the next thing. Go, and once you realize that you're not like everyone else, it's time you embrace who you are. Embrace all the different talents. Embrace all the talents that God has given you. Embrace all the different characteristics. Embrace all these different things that even your weaknesses, they think, well, I kind of like suck at graphic design. Okay, well, that's fine. That just means it's probably not for you. Focus on building up those strengths. Because, like, let's face it, a fish, if you put a fish on land, it's going to flop around. It's going to look all floppy. It's going to look all crazy. It's going to look stupid on land. And it's going to go, and there could be a cat nearby. And it's looking at this cat, and it's like, wow, this cat is walking gracefully with such elegance, which, like, just beautifully, just walking on the ground. And the fish is like, man, I'm stupid. I can't even do this. Next, the fish goes and tries to go into a tree. The fish is flopping all around in the tree, and the fish has fins. It's not meant to climb trees. It's not meant to be up there. A fish has gills. It's meant to take in the oxygen from water and be able to take that in through its body. And it's just like, wow, look at this fish just flopping around in this tree. And it sees birds and it sees squirrels in the tree. And the squirrels are climbing perfectly like little acrobats in the tree. The birds are able to fly from branch to branch. They're able to leave that tree, come and go as they please. And the fish is like, man, I'm stupid. I really suck at this. Like, I suck. I can't even go on land, and I can't go in a tree either. But then you put that same fish in water. You decide to put that fish, drop it in some water, drop it in a pond, drop it in the ocean, drop it in the lake, in a river, and you will see that fish will be able to move. That cat can't move in the water like that. The bird, most birds, they're not able to move in water like that, and they can never move like a fish. The fish can stay in the water indefinitely because the fish is made for the water. The fish is designed for the water. And this goes beyond fish and creatures and animals. It's the same thing with us. I've literally spoken to my mom about this as well. You cannot deem your success, you cannot deem your worth in being in an area where you're not called to be, where God has not called you to be, or God has not called you to be placed in, to walk in. Like, why would you, like, you're always going to think you're stupid. You're always going to think you suck at everything if you're put in the wrong environment, just like that fish. If that fish goes on and lives his whole entire life trying to go into trees, trying to go onto savannas, trying to go in deserts, trying to go on land, that fish will think it is a failure. But you put that fish in water and it will excel and think it is graceful. It is a beautiful animal. It is able to be successful. It has so much talent. It has so much ability. And that's the same thing with us. When, like, there's always going to be something that, like, it feels like it clicks. It just clicks like a magnet. And you're just like, wow, like, I have this talent. Like, for me, it was like video editing and storytelling and like speaking, like all those different things. When I do that, I feel at home. I feel like I can do it so excellently. Like, something just clicks and I just feel at home. It just feels natural for me. And for other people, it's not the same thing. So stop trying to think you're like this. Stop trying to think you're like this weird, like this other person. You're not. Embrace who you are, embrace your characteristics and work on those, grow in those, focus on building those up. If you're a great web designer, focus on growing as a web designer. Sharpen those skills, continue to challenge yourself. Maybe take more courses on that and continue to excel. And that's how you're going to be able to propel yourself further. You ever look at all these people you look up to, all these amazing musicians, all these artists, all these athletes? Like, there are people that went in sports and they can't play other sports nearly as well. Like LeBron James, he's an overall athletic person. But I'm telling you, if you put him to play baseball, he would not perform the same level, not nearly the same level as he can in basketball. You take a musician, like, let's get a famous musician like Frank Sinatra. Take Frank Sinatra and he goes say, oh, go make a rap song. He's gonna be like, huh? Like that wouldn't have fit him because that's not his skill. Even though it's still music, that's still not his little niche. That's not his little profession. That's not his little area. That's not his little nook. And that's not his little environment. So stop trying to compare yourself to all these other people. Stop trying to stop trying to pigeonhole yourself into these areas that you do not belong in. Embrace your talents, embrace your characteristics, realize your weaknesses, and that's how you're going to be able to focus on the strengths that you have and continue to grow and excel in them. So now that you're able to break free from the mindset of being like everyone else, and now you fully understand who you are and the characteristics that you have and the weaknesses, and you're able to focus on those. Last, it's time to put it all together and provide value. That is the last aspect. Everyone wants to say, there's not enough money to go around. They're broke. They don't have money. They live in poverty. That's a poverty mindset right there. That is a mindset that will not get you anywhere. If you truly understand yourself, if you're truly working on yourself to get better, if you truly know your strengths, if you truly know your weaknesses, and you know how to work on those strengths and increase them even more, then you're going to be able to realize, okay, I can provide value. And when you provide value, that is when wealth is going to come in. That's when open doors are going to come in. And when I say wealth, I don't just mean physical money. I mean wealthy relationships, friendships and relationships with people that you would never imagine meeting. They're people that want the talents that you have, want the value that you can provide. But you have to realize that you have to go out and provide value with the gifts, with the talents, with the abilities that you already have. Utilize that to its fullest. All the money that you want, all the money, all the relationships, all the people, that the spouse that you want to marry, the house that you want, the opportunities, the friends you want, they already exist. They are all out there. There is no shortage of money. There is no shortage of people on the planet. There's not all these different everyone wants to tell you that. But if you really realize it, they're all out there. They're all somewhere out there on this planet. All the money, it's all out. You just have to provide the value, and then those things will come. But those things will not arrive if you don't ever provide value. Those things will not show up. They're not just gonna go knocking on your doorstep, say, "Oh, hey, I know nobody lives here. I don't even know if anyone lives here or anything, and I don't know who on earth you are or what you do. You could be a serial killer for all I know, but hey, let's be friends. Let's just come on, let's be realistic. That is a almost guaranteed zero possibility chance. Money is not just gonna fall out of the sky. There are people who believe in praying that money just automatically gonna pop up out of nowhere. No. Even in the Bible, it says faith without works is dead. If you're just going to believe, but you're not going to have any obedience, you're not going to take any steps, you're not going to provide any value. You get value from providing value. When you provide value, I'm telling you, you will get that multiples. You will get that in folds, twofold, threefold, fivefold, eightfold, 12-fold, even more possibility. Everything is exponential in life. We have to stop thinking like you're robotic humans. Stop thinking you're this cookie cutter thing that everyone in society wants to tell you, and realize that we as humans, we don't grow, in this linear path. We're often taught that, everything is linear. There are a lot of things that are linear, things with computers and all these different things. But we as humans, we have this unique ability to grow. We grow exponentially. So that means we grow in this curve if you haven't been in school in a while. So exponentially is this curve that goes like this, right? So you have this this flatter part. It's growing a little bit. And that's the same with you. You realize your abilities, you realize your talents. You start very small, very humble beginnings, and you start realizing, you start growing a little bit. But what you're noticing, there's not as much value you're returning right now. You're not receiving a lot of value yet, but you're putting stuff out, you're working, you're getting better. So it's this slow growth. And then all of a sudden you start hitting this curve and things start increasing. You start noticing a pickup, you start noticing things advance and things start changing a little bit. But then eventually this is the point where you hit this curve, you hit this middle part of this curve right here, this important part. And everything after there just changes and it just shoots up. And everything that you thought was going to take super long, everything that was taking longer at first, everything just happens so much faster. The growth, the wealth, the relationships, all of that just pops off. But the thing is, so many people get lost in this little zone. They get lost in thinking, oh, I'm only growing a little bit. What if this talent, what if it's not going to work out? And they stop. They stop before they even reach this curve. Or they stop right at the curve, right before their turning point. They're like, it's not fast enough for me. It's not quick enough for me. What I'm telling you is that even though you have the key, all the keys are within you, it's not just going to happen overnight. It is not something that will happen just automatically. Like you think all these overnight successes exist. They've been working on it for years. They've been building their skills. They've realized the talents they have. They've realized everything. They've not everything. They've realized who they are, and they continue to build. Okay, I'm better at this, and they continue to grow. You're not gonna fully understand everything about who you are, but it's a constant progress. It's a constant growth. It's something that you are constantly living by. As you get older, you will continue to grow. You continue to get new experiences. You know, unlock different parts of yourself, and just get better. Age like fine wine, truly, not just by looks, but mentally, you know, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Like grow in your talents, grow in your abilities, and you're growing and you're growing. And I'm not saying it has to take a whole lifetime, because realistically, we don't want it to take a lifetime. It can take maybe 1 to 2 years. It can take months, even. Like, you don't know what's possible, but you just don't know when that breakthrough is going to happen. And you continue to grow, and it hits this curve, and then bam, hits this middle part, and it just shoots up, and you're like, wow, that's absolutely amazing. I can't believe that this happened. You know, what if I'm so grateful I didn't stop. I'm so grateful. You know, you ever see that famous picture with the miners, and there's one miner on top, and he gave up early, and the second miner's on the bottom, and then he kept going. He kept digging a little bit further. But you know what happens? He reached the goal. He reached the diamond. He reached the wealth. That is the same thing with us. We as humans, we're constantly growing. We're obviously going to continue to improve, to get better. And that is what you have to live life as. You have to live life as this constant thing to where you're getting better, you're growing, you're improving, you're choosing, actively choosing to improve yourself, actively choosing to work on your strengths, actively choosing to acknowledge you have weaknesses, acknowledge that you're not going to be the best at every single thing that you see, but you can be pretty darn good at a lot of things. So fully embrace that. And when you learn to provide value, when you learn about your strengths and weaknesses, and when you decide to break away from the cookie cutter world, this cookie cutter society, everything that you want, all the doors that you want, everything, you'll notice that you are the key. You were the missing part. You're that one missing thing. You know, everything that you think you want in life, you're probably just not ready for it yet. God is not just going to give it to you just automatically. Jesus is not just going to be like, oh, you know what? Well, you're not ready for a relationship. Let me just toss this relationship. You know, it's the woman of God that you always wanted, the woman that you always wanted to marry, and it's like, oh, let me just toss that in there. And I know you're gonna screw it up, but hey, let's just have fun and just toss them in there and ruin it. No, you have free will, of course, but you should be in a point to where you're constantly growing, you're constantly improving, and that's when you're able to get those. You know, you have to truly realize that when you're 6 years old, you could not drive a car. It would not be safe. You were not mature enough. You were not smart enough. You did not have fast enough reactions. But as you got older, you got tall enough to reach the pedals. You're able to do that. But even when you're tall enough to reach the pedals, doesn't mean you're necessarily ready to drive yet. When you got the maturity, when you learned the responsibility, when you're able to work on yourself, then you're able to, your parents or whomever, they're able to say, hey, you know what? You can have the keys. Here, you can drive. Hey, here, you can drive the car. It's time you start learning. That is the same thing with life. That is what Jesus is going to do for you. That is what God does for us, because he's a good father. He is never going to put you with too much. He's never just going to just be like, whatever. No, constantly improve yourself. You are the missing key. Just continue working on yourself. Continue to grow exponentially. Put in the work, put in the hours. Don't give up. Do not give up, because I'm telling you, your breakthrough, that blessing, that miracle, might just be right around the corner. It might just be a cusp right on the edge, but you'll never know until you try. So if you want to watch another video about self-improvement and learning to be the better version of yourself, learning to grow and, you know, sacrifice pleasure for a life of purpose. You know, that's something that people often forget to do in this modern world. They want to drink, they want to party, have all this fun. Then watch this video right here And consider subscribing as well. Consider subscribing, read the newsletter. If you made it this far, you would absolutely love the newsletter. I post every single Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and you would definitely enjoy it. Subscribe, watch this video right over here. Follow me on Instagram. I was posting stuff in my stories. Get to know me. Slide in my DMs. Let's talk. And yeah, also free Notion templates in the description below as well. You can watch this video right here. Watch this video right here. Free Notion templates about a habit tracker, and as well as, you can also get a yearly tracker based on 12-week year, which is something I often talk about. So that is the end of the video.